Hello. Oh, I have missed this. I have been away for about a week because my computer is being fixed, and I am so thankful that there are people out there who know how to fix computers and restore all of my photos. Yay! Hey, let's do some real talk. Real talk to you. You will recognize yourself very quickly if you are listening, and then you'll know whether to continue or not to the very end and listen to everything I have to say. Decide you want to subscribe. Let's do this together. The topic is, are you really a high achiever? Are you really a high achiever? Maybe you already know this about yourself. Maybe you want to know this about yourself. Maybe there's a question in your mind, and maybe you're like, yeah, but why does this matter, Shannon? I want you to be able to self identify as a high achiever so you can recognize how to go higher. Athletes have to identify themselves as an athlete before they can become an Olympic athlete. Okay, I'm talking about my background is in swimming, and so I have to identify myself as either a backstroker, a freestyler, a breaststroker, or a butterflyer because that's the one that I focus the most on. Because we are not all Michael Phelps and we cannot all swim all the strokes. I identify myself as one, knowing that that's the one that I develop, and this is how I develop myself is different based upon how I classify myself. It's the same with being a high achiever. The way that you're going to become a higher achiever is if you can indeed classify yourself as a high achiever. So let's just jump right into it. There are 5 things that I identified years ago whenever I recognized I do things really differently sometimes, okay? I can't just be comfortable because not because I have ADHD or anything like this. I just can't be comfortable doing the same thing over and over too many times. It just doesn't work for me. And so what I recognize is that I, in fact, am a high achiever because I fit into these 5 categories or classified, like I classify myself within these 5 categories. So here they are. Let's talk about them in brief. And through these conversations, right here, you and me, you can begin to identify if you are truly, in fact, a high achiever or if there's something else going on. However, you classify yourself, that's fine. But you will know now, after this talk, if you can relate to all the other videos in my channel, all the other videos that have been and that will come, because my video is for high achievers, high achieving women who want to go higher. Okay, stop making anything else. Stop saying anything else, Shannon. Let's just go on to what is included in the definition of high achiever. You appreciate, enjoy, need, want, love to give feedback. Feedback in any form. Look at this. Feedback can come through eye contact. Feedback can come through body language. Feedback can come through a written note, a voice memo. Feedback can come in many, many forms. If you love sending out feedback forms after a project, if you love giving feedback after a project, if you receive a feedback form and you actually sit down to think about what you would put in that, that's because you value feedback. Now, not only high achievers value feedback, I'm just talking about this is the first of the 5. Feedback. Do you need this? It's not just communication, it is actual feedback on how you're doing, what you're doing, so you recognize where you stand and how you stand. Now, the truth is, in all of this, as a high achiever, you probably don't get enough. Most people don't know how to give feedback. They don't give feedback well. Most people, this is an art that they need to learn. The sandwich method, whatever. I live in a culture where feedback is not given unless you do something wrong. So feedback is something you need and you want and you love to give. Okay, number 2, achievement. Okay, I'm not talking about you needing to have a gold medal given to you after everything that you've done. I'm not even talking about you knowing how to celebrate something that you've done. I'm just talking about you having this internal need to achieve something. You probably have lists and you like to cross them off. You probably create some type of a box and you like to check it off. Achievement. You see things and you want to get them done because of the feeling of achievement that comes from doing that task, from achieving that task, from doing it to the completion. Okay? Not being able to complete something requires a lot of patience and makes you need to breathe. Number 3, calculated risk. This does not mean that you calculate something for 4 days, 4 months, 4 years. Sometimes calculation of the risk that's involved happens quickly. Nonetheless, for most of the things that you do, you can recognize there was a moment of calculation. What is the risk involved? Should I mitigate the risk? Should I press into the risk? What does this mean that I can do or cannot do? What does this mean I have to let go of? What does this mean I need to as well gain or achieve, acquire? What is the calculated risk around a certain project, achievement, thing? Okay? Where are you? Are you identifying yourself with these 3 that I've talked about already? Are you on the scale of like 1, nope, this isn't me at all? Or are you on the scale of maybe this is me, maybe I'm at a 5, 2 out of 3 were yes, or maybe you're like, oh my, yes, 9 on all 3 of them because 10, I can't reach perfection. Okay, let's go on to number 4. Enthusiasm. Now, as a high achiever, I'm not saying that you have to jump up and down and you have to get your endorphin rush with everything you're doing, every little small nuance, every small detail. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying there's a certain level of enthusiasm in most of your achievements. You can even find a way to wash the dishes with enthusiasm. Myself, for example, I have put up a prayer calendar above my dish sink so that I can find a reason to be motivated enthusiastically to do the dishes. I'm praying while I'm doing the dishes. I am enthusiastic when I am doing something, even a mundane task. Now, talk about a big project. I'm all in it. My accountability group, I have to tell them no more projects this month. Or I can do a small project, no big projects. So there's an enthusiasm there, and people see that, people recognize that. This helps others to stay motivated. Are you understanding that as a high achiever, you are often found in leadership positions because of this, because you are the cheerleader in some sense? Enthusiasm, that was number 4. Number 5, you raise the bar higher. This might seem like it's not something you have to think about, but let me tell you, you do in fact think about this and you do in fact do this. And for me, it drives me nuts. Why can I not just do the same thing in the same manner every time, or even the next 2 times, or even the next 1 time? No, there's something in me that says, I did this time, 1% better next time, 1% better after that. Can you imagine? There are actually people in the world who don't do that. I couldn't imagine that. I could not imagine wanting my next apartment to be bigger or better. I could not imagine my next project not having more success or having a higher price to it. I could not imagine my next dinner potentially being better. I'm talking about, on average, you are a high achiever because you're constantly raising the bar higher. Again, this is why you are found in leadership positions, because you are not okay with just keeping it the same. You want to improve, you want to do better, you want to incorporate more, you want to do something. Like I said, can you imagine there are people out there that don't actually do that? I don't know what they think of. I don't know what they're doing. Laugh with me here, okay? So, where are you on this continuum? Feedback, achievement, calculated risk, enthusiasm, raising the bar. Is this you? If so, this is the right channel for you. Stay involved in all that I'm doing here. Subscribe. Come on. You and me, we're like one.